Hi, let's go into the treasure room and see what Art McKee did for modern treasure hunting. On the right is Art McKee. He's the father of modern treasure hunting, and he found that helmet that you had your head in and went down out on our reefs and found the Spanish Armada treasure fleets. What you're looking at here is a 16th century treasure chest. It was like the safety deposit boxes today because it took 3 keys to open it, and this is a fake keyhole to slow people down. There was a secret keyhole on the top of the lid that you had to find in order to get the chest open.
What do you mean by 3 keys to open it?
Well, you would have a big lock like this on these hasps, so there would be 2 locks here, and they each had their own keys. See that bead there?
Oh, is that an actual key?
That's a real lock and key from the 16th century. So that would be 2 keys, and then there was the secret keyhole on top of the chest, and one turn of that key would open up all those hinges and open up the treasure chest.
What's this?
Now, today we use little things like that to find treasure. We used to have to look for them, but now we can send things like this down. This is a magnetometer, and this helps find metal things underwater. It's a little more modern than Art McKee used, but not quite as modern as the equipment that they use today. Here's a chance for you to try to lift a real silver bar. It's about 70 pounds, and this bar was from the Etosha, which was discovered down off Key West. That's a real bar. See what you can do. It's pretty heavy. Are you ready?
1, 2, 3.
Wow, that's heavy. All right, give it a try.
It's impossible to lift it up.
It's very hard. It's not fastened down.
It's not impossible. It's just tough.
Can you lift it up?
I'm not so strong either. I probably can lift one end. All right, here goes. Boy, they're putting me to the test, these kids. Oh, I can't lift it either. 70 pounds.
That's a lot of weight.
We'll have to practice up, won't we, Noah?
I can move it.
Come back and she can move it, but
there you go. Y'all work out and we'll come back over
all
sometime.
right.
What is this?
That's a very early diving tank and diving mask that Art McKee used later. Here's a picture of him underwater using that. This is kind of neat. It's an elephant tusk that was from the 1600s. It was coming over here from Africa when the ship went down. And Art McKee and Barney Crowell found it underwater. So it was underwater about 300 years. And that's how it turned all green like that.
What is this?
Art McKee is sucking up treasure. You see his treasure cage behind you. And he invented that machine to suck up treasure. It went into the cage, and the sand and little bits of gravel filtered out
Here?
right in that very cage. That was Art McKee's.
That's why they found all that treasure.
That's how they found little pieces of treasure. A big bar like this you could see just laying right here in the sand and pick it up. And that's a metal detector that Art McKee invented. Something like that went up there, only very early, from the 1940s. That was one of the first metal detectors to find treasure.
Are these real ones or no?
Those are not real ones, else we'd have to have them locked up, like this one is. But they're reproductions. Now, Noah, sometimes people ask me, why are these diving helmets so heavy? And this gives you a chance to see how heavy they have to be, because the helmet is filled with air, and air is trying to float up. Go ahead and pull it. Can you get it underwater? It takes a lot of pull, doesn't it?
Ah!
Mikhaela, why don't you give it a try and see if you can keep it under?
We gotta get Noah a membership at a gym.
I want to lift.
Got him working out.
You can try to lift the one with the weights on it, Noah, and see how you'll see how heavy it was. It's not so easy. It's easier to do it.
Go ahead, Mikhaela, try.
Mikhaela, give it a try. So you have to put about 47 pounds of pull on to get all that air underwater. And that's
Do these helmets crack easily?
Yeah, they're glass and they crack easily, but as long as you're putting air on the inside, they don't leak. If you stop pumping air on, they leak. As long as that guy is working that air pump pretty hard, huh? Come on, you were asking about these helmets. These are the homemade helmets. That's heavy, right? 47 pounds you need to pull down.
Do you think I can lift up that small orange one?
Yeah, but it's closed in. I can't get to it. But you
I
could
know.
lift that one, I bet. Now, these are homemade helmets that people made in their garage and basement. You know, dads and their sons and daughters worked out there to make helmets like this, and every one is a little bit different. Look at how small this helmet is. I think that must have been made for a youngster like you and Noah. What do you think?
Yep.
You could get your
No,
head in that.
maybe put this one on.
That you could put on. The most fun helmet to put on is that one up on the top with the yellow base. And we have one of those out in the museum store, and you can put that one on your head and see what it was like. But it's
Well, what
really
is
nice to dive.
What is it?
It's called the Aqua Bell helmet.
What does it do?
It goes underwater. You put it on and you can go right down underwater and walk on the bottom like this.
This is plastic, so this wouldn't be as heavy, would it?
But it gets filled with lead on the bottom, so everything has to be really heavy in diving, right? Come on, let's go on. The next is 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea in Jules Verne.
What is this?
It's an early telephone and a thing on a ship that gives signals.
Noah.
See if anybody's home up top side. Well, not today.
Why does it work?
Jules Verne wrote some great books about science and science fiction. And we have showing in the background a movie from Jules Verne that was made in 1914. I want to welcome you to the Parade of Nations. Behind us here is a representation of every country that ever made a diving helmet. And we picked the very best helmets that they could make. The exhibit here is really too long to show you on camera now, and it's pretty exciting. I want people to come back and see it. But it's a chance for you to sit down a few minutes, and there's a light and sound narration. Dr. Joe Bauer tells you about what he thought was special about some of these very important helmets. All right, this is the newest exhibit that we have. You were asking us about more modern helmets. Come on, let me show you. We have our Hall of Fame monument where the commercial divers are put on who have done important things to make commercial diving safe. And this is the most modern helmet that men and women are using now when they're working on bridges and pipelines and all of the many things that commercial divers do.
I think that helmet's really cool.
It really is, isn't it? It's a very nice helmet. And this is a diver who's underwater. He's welding on a pipe to get a pipe joined together.
Do they use them today?
These are used today. This is very modern equipment. Just came out today, and it was a very nice piece of equipment that we have in this exhibit. Of course, that's a really, really early commercial diver. That's a stone diver, and you see that big pincher that he has? What this diver did is he went underwater, grabbed a big stone, tugged on the rope, and then when they lifted it up, the pinchers would shut like this, and they'd take the stones to the surface. Come on, let's move along. This helmet was made during the Civil War. It was probably one of the first helmets ever made in this country. So it's really old.
Yep.
And in here we have a little miniature diver that was made for the Draeger company and given to the founder of the company. The little gold-plated helmet was also given to the owner of the cloth company, and that became a trophy for yacht races.
It's this one.
That's that one. That's covered with real gold. You can see that it was polished off a little bit by the inscription in rubbing to see what that inscription said. Now we'll go into the room about the Mark V helmet.
What's that?
That's a Mark V diver, a Navy diver on a diving stage. He was welding and working underwater, and it was time to bring him up. They'd put him on that stage and they could bring him up without getting the bends. This room shows that the story of the Mark V. If you could only have one diving helmet, you'd want to get a Mark V helmet. Everybody wants that one.
What does Mark V stand for?
Well, the Mark is the military standard helmet, and it means Type 5. But there was a 1, a 2, a 3, and a 4. And finally, in the early 1900s, the Navy said, let's just have one helmet. It would be simpler for our divers. And they settled on the Mark V.
Is this for the balloons?
This one's not for the balloons, but it could be used for balloons where you don't have balloons in here. You can pump this one. This is the Mark V air pump to the diver, and it was this pump that was used to get the military divers underwater.
It's easier, I think so.
It's easier, and it has a handle, and I think that makes it easier. But remember, that diver might be working an hour or two, and you have to keep pumping up here the whole time.
It's fun.
It's fun, but not so easy, say, after a half hour. That'd be a lot of work.
And which one would you pick if you had to pick in between 5 helmets?
If I had to pick between 5, I'd pick one of the early Mark V's from probably the one facing away from us. It's the most rare Mark V.
I would choose the gold.
You like the shiny? Yeah, well, you like those gold things. What about this one?
What about this? I think it's
I like that.
real.
Actually, this one is fake. And we have this exhibit here to show the difference. It looks really good though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But this is real and this is fake. And we have an exhibit here because a lot of people get fooled and they buy this thinking that it's a real helmet. They pay a lot of money and have made a mistake. So we put this here to tell you the difference. And when you see a real helmet and you see this really good looking fake, side by side, you start to realize that maybe this looks a little fake.
Can you tell us maybe some things that make it look
Well,
fake?
one of the easiest things that you can see from across the room is this funny shape here. See how it goes down and then comes out?
Yep.
And look at the real helmet. It doesn't do that. It's probably the easiest way. The other easy way is this little label. Look what a chintzy looking little label that is. And look at the label on the real helmet. Almost all fake helmets have the same date, 1941, August. That's a giveaway too.